Hi, welcome to A Punk with Toys. My name is Lawrence, and today we're going to take a look at Fresh Monkey Fictions, Operation Monster Force, Declan Van Helsing. These are a PBTS exclusive. That is Big Bad Toy Store. That is the only place that you can get them, and we have been waiting a long time for these figures. Now, the question is, are they going to be worth it? Let's hope so. I bought these. All the other reviewers that have got them so far, God bless all of them, they were gifted to them. So you know most of them probably won't be too critical. I will be critical if it needs to be. If it's a good figure, I'm going to let you know if this is a good figure. I'm going to let you know if there's issues. Hopefully, with as much time as we've waited for, we won't have to worry. They do come with a nice hefty price tag of $37 each. But anyway, let's get right into this. So here we have some awesome artwork right there. Okay, that isn't Van Helsing, Operation Monster Force. He's holding his crossbow there. On the side, it tells you that is, I get it right, Declan Van Helsing. I'm assuming that is for like book 1 or chapter 1, whatever it is. The Forgotten King has returned. You can pause it there if you want and read it. I got the whole series. You can see 8 figures, so get ready for the onslaught of Operation Monster Force. All right, so it does have the opening cover, and every single figure is going to have a comic panel there. So it'll give you a little bit of a backstory. On the back here, obviously, we're going to have more of a backstory. I do believe there is a comic book, but I'm not 100% sure. There might be a digital one that you can get. There is the figure, and you can kind of see everything that's in it. It looks like there's a lot of empty space. It is a wonderful looking box. If you get rid of the ring light, has some Velcro. Perfectly fine with it. But anyway, you don't really care about this or any of this. You want to see what this figure is like. So we're going to open them up, and at least the first couple I'll probably open up so you can see exactly how they come. I know a lot of people, and most people don't like hearing the crinkle crinkle, but when it's something new, I like to give that to you guys so you guys know what you're getting into. So anyway, let's get to that. But before we do, if you like this type of stuff, you like Operation Monster Force, or at least what you've seen so far, please take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that bell notification so you're notified every time you drop one of these. Now let's get right to it. All right, so there we go. Again, there's how it looks. The figure actually looks pretty small in this. I guess we'll see once we get this thing open. I use my trusty razor blade right here. All right. Pull this thing out. And again, I won't be doing this for all of the figures. I will do it for obviously at least this one so we can see how difficult it is, what everything that he comes with. So here's how he comes packaged. We've got at least one tie wrap right here, another one around his waist. So we use our trusty little snips here, and we'll snip that one off. That one's going to be a little bit more difficult, so I guess we're going to have to just kind of go right from the back, snip that off. And how easily does this figure come out? Comes out pretty easily there. Cover for the hands came off. They just all fall right out. Gun comes off. Didn't even realize that he came with a rifle. And then we got his crossbow. Alright, so there's everything there. And then we have another bag of goodies. So, lots of hands. Lots of hands that I didn't realize. So we get 4 blast effects there. Pieces for his pieces for his I can't think, plate carrier. It's for his legs. So we're gonna be, oh man, there's gonna be a lot of customizing with this. So this video may run a little long. And then we obviously have his stand, which also turns into his I don't know why I can't think of it. His tombstone. So you have Operation Monster Force. If you put it down here, then it's going to tell you that it's a Declan Van Helsing. and that design looks really good. It looks like it's got a nice little wash over it, even through the Operation Monster Force. 2 pegs there, a lot of completely broken up. It's all chipped up here. That looks really nice. It really does pop. Again, you know my feeling on stands, but I like that. Now, when I was at Joe Fest, Mark to Toys, he designed these, and he said, hey, you know what? We're going to be doing stands. Let's make it work with it. This is what he told me. So hopefully, you know, that's what he was telling me, that, hey, they wanted to make some sort of like tombstones. Dracula has blood, as I have the Joe Fest exclusives. All right. So we have some blast effects. So let's take a look at the blast effects, since we got to see them first here. And this cover that I put on is probably not the greatest. So we got one smoke effect. It's just translucent. I know I'm going to lose that. I'm going to put it right in here. It'd be easier to actually see. We have a bigger blast effect. All right, it already looks better than what we get with Hasbro. A little bit smaller one. So you got the little shroom cloud coming out there. All right. And then we got a longer one. Now, it does have a little bit of flex to it, but it's nice and stiff. All right. Now, it doesn't feel like the soft, rubbery ones from Hasbro, which is nice. It also doesn't feel as rough as the Valaverse ones, who I think actually make probably the best ones for the small effects that we really need. All right. So let's situate a few things here and get stuff out of the way, because wow, I don't know what I was expecting, but I didn't think there was going to be this much on it. So he has 2 open hands that are ungloved. We get our 2 fist hands. All right, they do look good. No real paint. It's just the color of the hands. We get 2 trigger fingers. All right. We get the C hands. They're not even thumb wrestling hands. These are technically complete C grip, because they're not, thumb is even kind of sticking up. We have these 2 gloved hands. The gloved hands look like they have Kevlar on the knuckles, so obviously for punching. And they got some nice design on it. All right. Now, you guys know my feeling on hands. Eventually, you just have too many. Now, I do like this better than, like, let's say what Valaverse has, where they have the C cup for holding the weapon. I can only do so much with that one. And eventually, I think you just have too many hands. Here's the gloved trigger finger. All right. So all of them look the exact same. All the gloved ones have the Kevlar on the knuckles for punching zombies or whatever you want to punch. All right. There's punching hands. And then we have 2 more. So many hands. I can tell you right away, I'll be saying I don't need that many hands pretty soon. All right. So there's our first casualty. All right, so we have 2 flashbangs, or 2 smoke grenades. All right, that you can plug into the plate carrier somewhere on them. All right, it's got a little bit of silver on the top. You can see where the pin is. It looks good. It's too bad they're not individual, but I also understand why you're not going to have individual ones. That would be an awful lot. We have, let me leave that for a second. Here we have the arrows for his crossbow. All right, so that's going to plug in there. And each one is painted pretty nicely, and then it's got the little strap that's going to hold it on. So that does look pretty good there. We have this pouch for the plate carrier. It looks like a switch, or not a switch, but butterfly knife maybe in there. We got some, what I believe look to be shotgun shells, just a few pouches. It is pliable enough, but it also is pretty stiff. And I love the fact that you have The shotgun shell's painted. This is green. You have a darker green right here that makes it stand out. And then you have the silver. So I believe that's a butterfly knife. Now, I talk about how paint makes things go up in price, but I also mention all the time on some of the figures how just a little bit of paint really pops it. Star Duster is actually out of arm's reach, or I'd grab it and mention that one again. All right. Here we have what looks to be more grenades, smoke grenades, flashbangs that are going to plug in. You have 3. It's got the nice little green strap. They're all held on pretty nicely. And I just like the fact that it looks like there's some wear on it. Now, this really gives me the gridiron vibe, which I've talked about, and they do work with gridiron. Gridiron will eventually be making the weapons for all their stuff. So here's a leg holster. Looks like this thing is just going to slide right on. Obviously pliable. 2 different shades of green. And then we're just going to plug that right in there. And we'll wait till we get that on to figure that out. Here we have one pouch there. Again, well, I'm going to get into this when we look at the weapons. All right. So here we have the microphone. All right, it's going to plug in. So this way he can communicate, get a hold of, I guess, good zombies or good vampires. I don't know. There's all kinds of things. Again, this is going to be a huge imagination builder for people. Another leg piece. All right. I'm assuming it's going to go this way. So now we can quickly take a look. We got our radio. No paint to it. It would be nice if maybe the face just had a little bit, but there's going to be so much paint. I can't complain when one thing doesn't have paint when there's going to be this much. All right. So here we have this pouch here. I'm assuming the radio goes in like that. All right. So you got a place for your radio. Doesn't fall out. It goes in pretty nicely. And again, the detail on the radio isn't bad. So you might want to hit up with some silver paint. Something just to kind of make it look like it's illuminated. Maybe not silver, maybe blue. Just to give it a little bit of a look to it. Here we have the knife. Nice handle that's brown. You got this black with a nice silver blade. Or the blade is black, but where the sharpness here is all nice and silver. And then you have silver right around there. All right. It is sharp. This will hurt it. Don't let a kid play with it. All right. This looks like it is the sheath for the knife. Plugs in really nicely. Just that little bit of silver. There's the buttons right there. The piece down there. That really sets it off. I mean, that looks so good. And, you know, this is something that you wonder if down the road you'll be going, like, you're paying a high price for all the paint apps that you're going to get. The same way that I talk about the 4 Horsemen and the Mythic Legions. I wonder if that's what we're going to be saying. So it does plug in. This vest is going to be plate carrier is going to be very modular. It already looks like. So here we have one pistol. I love the gold. So it has the gold little rivets there, and then the trigger is gold. Port for blast effects. All right. And again, just really nice. The brown really makes it pop. And then we have just all one color. I guess that's fine. I'm not going to complain. There's so much. Again, there's a lot of paint apps already on this figure. So I think it's very difficult to complain about everything. And that thing pops in really nice. It doesn't come out. Then we have a smaller pistol. Again, same gold paint apps, so you can tell it's coming out of the same factory. When I say the same factory, I mean the guns are supposed to be coming out of the same factory. Gold trigger, gold little rivet there. Nice brown handle. Looks pretty good. All right. So I guess what we have to quickly look at is take a look at, well, let's see here. So here's one magazine. All right. It's got a painted bullet. really gives some Mezco vibes. All right, Mezco uh, and Gridiron, they're the ones that really paint their bullets, and that definitely looks good. So here we have the M4 rifle with the big bayonet. Totally makes sense to have a bayonet when you're in this environment. They're fighting monsters. So, got the nice scope right there. It's on a rail system. All right, port for blast effect. Nice silver there. Magazine does come out. You can see the bullets through it, which I think is awesome. So now my question is, so there you go. They give you two different styles of magazines, which no one else is. They always give you the same magazine, which I fully understand. I think that is awesome. I gotta say, I like the banana clip here, the way that looks. Just got this little bit of gold right there, a red trigger. We got the stock, and it is in. Man, this paint is. I mean, this is really. I'm extremely impressed with the accessories right away. All right, straight gun. It has. It's not soft, but it also doesn't feel like if I put too much pressure, it will break. But I don't feel like it's going to break by just hitting a little bit of pressure. All right, I guess that's the best way to say it. And then we have his crossbow. All right, so here's his crossbow. And it looks like it's just going to plug right on like that. All right. Now, it has one bolt that's down here. It looks like it's supposed to be already cocked. All right. It's got the red, maybe this is an infrared. I guess that would work pretty good with hunting down different vampires and different animals. I'm wondering if this came, I mean, that's not painted. I feel like this was maybe glued. I mean, it stays on. Maybe it comes off because it's just so big and bulky. It's easier to move around. But either way. So that's where the bolt is going to fire from. It got a nice look, and it kind of has a lot of weathering to it. Look at the bolts right there, how they're going to feed up. This thing is awesome. So this here is just supposed to be an extra one that's going to kind of pop right up in place when this is empty. All right. This is not a string, just static, but I think we'll be able to get some pretty good photography with it. All right. We've made it to the figure. But I don't even think we're close to being done because there's so much to look at when it comes to this figure. Well, everything that he comes with. All right. So we'll look at that head, and you got a wonderful scar. All right. How do his eyes look? They look pretty straight. You got good hair. Paint is awesome. All right. Looks like he has a neck joint. I can't wait to look at the articulation here. Lips look pretty good. He's obviously an angry guy, and depending on how he sizes up, this guy could fit with your G.I. Joes very easily. On his plate carrier, we have a magazine. It looks like a flashlight. A couple flashbangs or grenades that are strapped on. A couple magazines that are not removable. Not really sure what that is. Oh, scissors. Oh, so there's scissors behind there. So that's probably his med kit. But those are scissors behind there. The little bit of silver just really kind of pops. On his belt, you got some more shotgun shells. You got your little clips here, so you can put stuff onto it. All right. Got the pouches that run across it. A little bit of like camouflage on the back plate carrier. He's wearing what look more like corduroy or some sort of jean, maybe brown jean or whatever. Again, nice texture to it. Knees have no texture, but there's now that's kind of weird that you have like no texture on the knees, but you got texture up here. But I understand that you're just going for a look. I fully get it. Just kind of an odd idea not to have it all textured or all not textured. We got the cover up. All right. So hopefully, I'll have to look at the articulation in 1 second here. All right. So let's take a look at everything that he has. Look at the gray in his hair. All right. So this guy can look up. So my complaints about Stardust or not being able to look up or not having snipers or machine gunners, I don't have this problem with this guy. So he can look up. He can look down. Look at that, his neck. So he's got a neck joint there. And this ball joint right here. You can look side to side. All right. Can move back and forth, which is awesome. Great T-pose right there. You got the... Oof, there's a bicep swivel. All right. So let's see here. Double pinless. I don't know if this is supposed to swivel. I don't think it really matters because it swivels here. But it looks like it's supposed to swivel at this joint. All right, there you go. So it swivels at the bicep. His wrists are going to swivel. They go in and out. You know what we did? We didn't look at his tattoos. So he's got this wonderful looking, not skeleton, but skull tattoo. On the inside, it's more just kind of black there. And then on this forearm, I'm not really sure what that is. Then it looks like he has some sort of writing on the inside. And it looks like maybe a cross or something. Maybe something religious since he is Van Helsing. All right, bicep, no problem. Elbow, no issues there. I don't really want to take this off already, but we'll pop this off. We'll see how easily it goes back on. So it's got a little mushroom grip here. Only one side comes off. Look at that. Nice paint, man. This is really nice now. All right, so we're going to have to pop his head off, which comes right off easily. I'll take this off here. So he has the belly dancer, which is the diaphragm cut. Again, I like ab crunches better. He does have butterfly joints. And look at this. Look at those butterfly joints. Woo! This video is going to be long, guys. Now that is how the butterfly joints should work. I've complained about Hasbro, or shall I say G.I. Joe. They don't work. This is exactly how the Valaverse work. I've praised them numerous times. You want to hold the gun straight out in front. You want to hold sword. That is perfect, right? Waist goes side to side. I mean, he does have some pretty good movement here. All right. He can kick straight up. There's his Jean-Claude Van Damme, which is really good. Drop down hips. You got your thigh cut. Pinless knees. And we're about to get to the ankle rocker. So there's no boot cut here. But what you do have is the feet are going to turn either way and move up and down. Matter of fact, they're going to pop out because it's so... Came out actually pretty easily. So I'm going to say it might have the same issues. You can only move so far back and forth. So this is probably going to be like the same issues that you have with the Valaverse Duster. When it comes to posing, again, I'm a big fan of having the thigh, or the, I don't want to say thigh cut. This is your thigh cut. Your boot cut over here. But everything else looks pretty good. Look at that paint on there. So it kind of has more like a cross tennis shoe. Doesn't really look so much like a boot. All right. Now we got to get this guy back together. And let's see how he looks once we start loading him up. So now the question is, how well will this mushroom work? Are we going to be able to get this thing to pop in easily, or is it going to be one of those fights that we had like with the early Valiverse? He had a lot of issues, and he got that resolved last that I knew. So it seems to go back in okay. You're really going to need to, get something, reach up underneath that, and pop it back into place. Now, the plate carrier is fairly loose, so do I have anything close to me, or do I got to stop the camera? Let's stop this. All right, so you have this trusty little tool. It's going to kind of reach up here so we can put some pressure, and we'll see if the mushroom. So the mushroom pops back on. It's not really a problem other than when you try and tighten it, push it down, it becomes an issue only for the fact that you can't really get it set right. All right. So let's take a look at everything and see how this thing goes on. So it looks like this stuff just pops right off. So now if we want to pop on these things, oh man, this is like an... Okay, so this is going to be like your army builder dream. All right. So we can replace that. We're going to be able to change things out here. It might be easier to... So I do fear that we're going to need to have this off. See, the one side went on nice and easily. This side, not so much. Now, once again, if you're still here, take a second and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't. If you're wondering why I'm doing this, again, I like to show you what you're going to get. All right, so you just kind of got to move it around. That will stay on there. All right. This piece here. Gonna slide up. Hopefully it stays up. I did it the wrong way. And you would think that it's supposed to be. Oh. The frustration is going to kick in. So this is what you kind of go through. All right. That has to be down. All right, right? That has to be down, no matter how you look at it, because you want this to be like that. So let's see if we can get this thing to slide up here. I have a feeling we're going to get this thing to kind of ride down. All right, so it just kind of pushes right up like that. No issues. This is going to pop on pretty... All right, so I have a fear that as nice as I like this modular idea, you're going to need something to keep these things on here. All right, you're going to take this thing out there, and this thing's going to fall off. And I think it's going to drive some people absolutely mad. Coco Smooth, the casual collector, I am talking to you if you're going to get these. You and I have, I think you have a nicer temperament than I do. But we definitely both get aggravated over stuff. All right, so we can pop on these pieces here. They actually pop on pretty nicely. All right. And pop that off. We can throw on the radio. So I'm going to put the radio there. I don't know where my radio is. It can also be used, I believe, for the extra magazine maybe. But I think this would be more for the knife sheath. Or you put the knife back here. Look at that. Put the knife right back there. You can do so many things with this. I absolutely love this idea. Oh, okay, so here we go. This here goes up here. And does this piece come out? Look at that. So that right there is a lot like what comes with Grunt. All right. So you can put his name on it if you want. What do we want to put here? We want to put a couple grenades. And if you want those grenades right there, it seems like a little weird spot to have it. There's just so much you can do. I'm not going to sit here and go through absolutely everything because I think it will drive people nuts and they'll be like, this video is going to be 2 hours long. I don't want a 2-hour video. We can get the knife there. We can take these here and pop that thing on right there. So how does the head pop right back on? No issues whatsoever. Does he stand? That is a huge. So I will readily admit this table, which I bought, I thought was going to be better. You can see how much it shakes. So there he sits. All right, we're going to grab Stalker since I have Stalker sitting right here. And they match up, size up pretty well there. Grab this one Valaverse figure that I have sitting here. Obviously, if he sizes up with G.I. Joe, it's also going to size up with Valaverse. All right, I don't think there's too much that we need to know. Star Wars Black Series always run small. Not going to fit. So, all in all, that looks pretty good. But now let's go ahead and arm him up. And let's just start with this badass rifle. Now, one of the gripes that I'll always have with plate carriers, Valaverse is a big one. Oh, you know what we didn't do? We didn't take his hands off. Valaverse is a big one. Plate carriers are really big. They get in the way. Ooh, that hand came off. Super easy. Get the trigger finger. Is that when you're trying to cross over, there's going to be things in the way. So when you want to get them in as Coco Smith, why do I keep calling you Coco Smith? Coco Smooth, the casual collector will say. It is the sexy sniper pose. This stuff gets in the way. There's no way around it, and that's because it's plastic. So I am not insulting like Valaverse. Hasbro has the same issue. When the plate carriers are in the way, they're in the way. No way to get around it. And that just has to do with these aren't real living individuals. So right here you can see that plate carrier is definitely in the way. So if you want to get in some really good posing shots, we're going to have to do a little bit more work than what you might have to if we were to remove the plate carrier. But not everyone is as anal about that when they are trying to pose their figures as I am. I will readily admit that. All right. So here we go. I can get him looking like he's shooting. Again, this is just kind of a quick pose. And they do stand up pretty well. All right. They do have the port for blast effect. I like the fact that their boot is actually like has a boot print. Something G.I. Joe does not have. So if you're in the dirt and you want to make a shoe mark, you can. That is for my moderator, Action Figs, Ed. But that looks pretty good. Hold on. Well, if you give me blast effects, we got to see how some blast effects look on this thing. So, blast effects port in pretty nice. That looks pretty good. Do they work with Joe? Well, there you go. Them in there. So they fit with G.I. Joe's too, so give us some blast effects, and I guarantee you people will start buying that stuff. Now we got... Nice. I have a feeling this was not supposed to come off. Alright, so I may end up having to glue that. So we get the crossbow in here. And he's pretty much going to be walking around with it one-handed right now. As you can see, that thing's going to be popping off like crazy. Matter of fact, this thing's actually going to pose a little bit better. But yeah, that's an issue. So this probably has to be glued. If you got this, let me know if yours has the same issue. or if mine just kind of came undone. It's not the biggest deal. I'm not going to complain and cry about it. All right. So quickly, let's throw this off here. Let's see. Hand fell off. See how everything's kind of coming off? That's what's going to happen if you're walking around outside with it. So just be very careful with it. All right, so I'm going to pop the head off here before we wrap this up. People have asked me before, what is it about the butterfly joints? Please let me know. Well, this is what you're looking for with the butterfly joint. All right, we're going to take this pistol off. If I get this stupid thing off. All right. Where's my trigger finger? I'm going to change the hand here. Let me give this a nice little open hand. So this is what you're looking for with butterfly joints. All right. And when we get a sword one, I'll show you. Is you want to be able to pose your figure straight out like this. All right. This is how you would be holding a pistol, right? So I can make both hands grasping it like this, which is something I cannot do with someone like Stalker because his arms will not cross over. They have butterfly joints, but they're more aesthetic based than anything. These are actually made to work. So I'm really happy with how this one is. Again, I'm not going to sit here and complain about G.I. Joe because that's not what this is. This is a Monster Force review. So Operation Monster Force. So there you go. I don't know where the little pistol goes. I guess you can use other pieces for it to go in. Anyway, there's a lot to do here. A lot of different things. So let's wrap this up. Okay, so my first impression on these is they're pretty good. Yes, I looked at the Joe Fest exclusives, but that was a completely different type of figure, although they are the same molds as they're going to be using for two of the figures. But when I look at this and I see the price point, which is $37, it is expensive, but they're giving you a lot. It's also coming from a small company. Most small companies, you're going to have higher price point, like a Mythic Legions, where you're going to pay anywhere from $40 to $45 for a basic figure. I do want to mention, when you take the wrists off, there is a little piece that's supposed to go to the gloves, or it's a wristband. Be careful with it. It could fall off. It didn't fall off for me when I first did it, but it started to as I moved it around. So all in all, I like the figures, and I'll definitely be buying more and doing more reviews. All right, so there you have it. That is my Declan Van Helsing review of the Operation Monster Force. Again, these are only available at BBTS, which is Big Bad Toy Store. If you're new to collecting, they are a legit company. You don't have to worry about being screwed by them, and you don't have to pay anything until they come in and they're all in stock. Now, first impression of these, I'm very impressed. I already have the Joe Fest exclusive, but they're translucent. One is glow in the dark, one is all red. When they're doing something like that, that plastic usually is a little bit softer and it feels different, and you can't see the paint, obviously, because there's no paint. You can't see all the articulated points. So I think this figure is pretty good. I'm definitely interested to get the next 7 open, but until you get to that one, this is what we're gonna get. You guys voted. This was the one you wanted to see first. I'm happy because this was actually the first one that I wanted to see. I think the paint is really good. I think the accessories are good. Is it perfect? I don't think anything's perfect, to be 100% honest, but it's well worth, first impression, the $37. So anyway, I'm going to get out of here. You stayed this long. Thank you very much. Please take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop a Monster Force video. Now I'm out of here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave a link to one of the Joe Fest exclusive Operation Monster Force figures, and down here will be the playlist of all the Operation Monster Force figures that I do. Take care.